How is this happening? Well, part of the problem is we have too many politicians like Pete Stark from California. What a surprise. Pete is a founding member of the Progressive Caucus. I showed you some video last week. He embodies absolutely everything about progressives that we have told you about. They look down at you. You're not smart enough to figure it out. Last week, we showed you some constituents in California that were asking about the border fence. He started mocking the Minutemen. How many people are you going to kill today? Excuse me? Now listen to him in this interview with Jan Helfeld on the national debt. Watch this. It's better with sound.
The wealthier we are.
The larger the national debt, the wealthier
it's an indication of the wealth of the country. You're right.
So the more you owe, the more you're worth?
In federal account, in the national scheme of things, that's quite right.
So why shouldn't we borrow another trillion then next year?
Probably
so
because if we should not necessarily borrow another trillion, but we will, inevitably.
No,
we probably shouldn't, but we will. And remember, national debt is just a sign of your wealth. He's a deep thinker, but I only had a brain. First of all, if you don't believe progressives think that you are too stupid and have to be dragged to the right answers, watch the next clip that's coming. More debt means we're wealthy. Remember that, okay? At the time of the clip, the national debt was $5 trillion. Well, we're 3 times that wealthy now. We're so rich. Don't you feel it? Where did we go wrong on this one, Pete? Well, watch, buckle up. Here he goes. He's going to start condescension.
Did you ever study economics?
A little bit.
Where?
In University of Puerto Rico.
Oh, in University of Puerto Rico. Do you have a doctorate in economics?
No, I don't.
Master's degree?
No, I don't.
How many classes did you take? What I would suggest is that you go, they're simple-minded questions that don't relate to the realities.
The viewers who don't have a doctorate in economics.
Well, if you'd shut up for a minute, why don't you explain to your viewers? You're blabbing away here about something you don't know anything about.
So you think that if the national debt increases, we become wealthier. So I don't see why you don't want to go for it and go for $2 or $3 billion.
It's why you probably never graduated from a very good college, Jan. And I'm not going to take the trouble to educate you here.
Oh, please don't, Pete. I know what you're saying. Where's my pipe? I've got to be having a pipe. Where did my pipe go? I've got to have a pipe. Here it is. Oh, Pete. Pete, you are so right. Why explain things like that to the riffraff? Oh, man. I tell you what, Pete. I'm going to speak slowly here for you, okay, Peachy Weedsy? You should probably maybe TiVo this. TiVo, it's a device that records TV shows. You can play it back anytime you want when you're in your little feety pajamas there in California, which, by the way, is doing really good stuff economically, too. Now, Pete, you might not know this because you've been busy in Congress for about 37 long years now. No term limits for a guy like you, no. And by the way, 37 years ago, that's when you won your first election, which is weird because you won that election because you said your opponent had been in Congress far too long, Petey Weedy. Pete, let me show you something. This is what I like to call a diverse neighborhood. Economic backgrounds. Here's somebody like you that makes $250,000 a year. You know, before all the stuff that maybe people slip you under the table. Okay? You're making a lot of money and you get a lot of great health care benefits, Petey Weedy. But Pete, because you are so incredibly smart, you know that debt is a sign of wealth. So you bought this house. It's a $500,000 house. And you financed $520,000 because you could. Because debt is wealth. You also bought a boat. You financed that. So you got a sports car right here. Look at this. Ken and Barbie would be jealous. All right, you've got a summer cottage out at the lake as well, but you got it all financed. It's great. Life is sweet to be Pete Stark, isn't it? Now, you have some of these riffraff neighbors here. They only make $45,000 a year. No, sir. They paid off their mortgage. They bought used cars. They don't have any payments. They don't have any debt. You know, poor people. I spit on them. Well, here comes the rainy day for old Peachy Weedsy. Peachy is, he's in Congress, but who could ever fly a Peachy Weedsy, huh? He'll be in Congress. Uh-oh. Peachy Weedsy lost his job. Why? Because the common man has lost his job too. Oh boy. Now the way Pete sees it, the richest person on the block is him. You know, the guy with a sports car and a boat and the nicest house is great. But what happens when Peachy Weedsy loses his job? And so does this person. Now what to do? Well, it's a good thing I'm a thinker. You know what I'm saying? Because the richest person on the block happens to be, yes, say it with me, this guy. Why, Peter? Go ahead, say it, Peter. They don't have lots of stuff, that's what you're thinking. But gee, Mr. Beck, they don't have a lot of stuff. This guy's rich because he's got a lot of stuff. Yes, Pete. Yes, I know. That's the way you Harvard-educated boys think. But see, here's the problem. He doesn't own any of this crap. No. So the bank comes and takes his house. Yeah, and Pete's outside crying by his sports car, going, I want my sports car, I want my sports car. But the bank takes that too. And Petey has no house, no car. Credit card companies breathing down his neck. Income is slashed. Life changes for Peachy Weedsy. Oh, I could dream, can't I? Yeah. Meanwhile, the poor person has their house because they didn't owe anything. You see? Now, it's the same, Peter, with the federal government. If IRS returns drop, that means people aren't making money, so they can't pay taxes. Well, the government could do what this guy could have done. Just take out more loans to make up for the shortfall. But in the end, we could just print more money or borrow more money for China, but in the end, see, Pete, that's not more wealth. No, we just held off the inevitable. But then again, I'm not a doctor like the great statesman and... Oh, wait a minute. Oh, boy. Pete's not a doctor either. Oh, I almost forgot. I am Pete.